Once upon a time, in a peaceful African village marked by the untarred streets and surrounded by rivers, hills and forests, there lived a bright and spirited young girl named Anya. She was the only child to her parents who were without a child and had prayed for one for 12 years. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Balagun, were both farmers and traders. They sold palm oil in drums which they produced in their small oil company just by their house. Being an only child, Anya was well cared for and enrolled in school. Anya was known for her radiant smile, her eyes that shimmered like stars, and a heart so kind it warmed everyone around her. She loved spending her days helping her mother in the palm fruit plantation, splashing in the cool waters of the river with her friends, and listening to the stories of the village elders under the shade of the great baobab tree. But above all, Anya adored the village drum. The drum was no ordinary instrument. Standing tall in the center of the village, it was carved from the sacred trunk of an ancient tree and adorned with beads, feathers, and intricate carvings that told stories of the ancestors. This drum was called the talking drum, and it was said to hold powerful magic. The elders believed it could mimic the voices of the forest and even speak in a language only the wisest could understand. It was the soul of the village, used for celebrations, storytelling, and even to send messages through the village. When Anya was 12-year-old, she developed an unusual likeness to the drum. She always told his parent how she could love to own a drum just like the one in the center of the village square. "I want one of such drums," she will say. But her father always reminded her that no one from his or her mother's family lineage were chosen by the gods to own one. Every evening, Anya would sit by the drum, tracing her fingers along its smooth surface, dreaming of what it might feel like to play it. She would whisper to it softly, "Oh, how I wish I could make your music soar through the air, bringing happiness to all." One fateful evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Anya sat alone beside the drum. She whispered her usual wish, but this time, something extraordinary happened. The drum quivered under her touch, letting out a deep, resonating hum. "Anya," a low and mysterious voice echoed, "why do you wish to play me?" Anya gasped, her heart pounding. The drum was speaking in hums and she could understand it. She hesitated, then she said, "I want to bring joy to the village and make the forest come alive with music." The drum's humming voice softened. "Music is a gift, young one. If you promise to use my sounds for good, I will let you play." "I promise," Anya exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "Then close your eyes, and let your heart guide you," the drum said in a hum. Anya shut her eyes, and as if guided by an unseen force, her hands began to move across the drum's surface. The beats she created were unlike anything she had ever heard. The rhythm flowed like the river, gentle yet powerful. Birds chirped in harmony, trees swayed as if dancing, and the entire village gathered to listen, their faces lit with wonder. From that moment, Anya's bond with the talking drum became unbreakable. She played at festivals, where her music made even the shyest children dance. She played during storytelling nights, weaving rhythms that brought the tales to life. And she played when the villagers faced challenges, lifting their spirits with her melodies. As the days passed, Anya's bond with the talking drum grew deeper. The drum had become more than an instrument to her, it was a guide, a friend, and a source of wisdom. One day, as Anya sat beside it in the quiet afternoon sun, tracing its intricate carvings, the drum did something extraordinary. "Anya," it said, but this time not in its usual resonating hum. The voice was clear, warm, and undeniably human. Anya jumped back, startled. "Drum? Was that you?" "Yes," the drum replied in a soft, calm voice that seemed to come from its very core. "You have grown in spirit, Anya, and now you can hear me as you hear the voices of others. But remember, not everyone will understand our bond." Anya's eyes widened with wonder. She spent the rest of the afternoon talking with the drum, asking questions about the ancestors, the forest, and its magic. She felt special, chosen, as though the drum was sharing secrets meant only for her. The next day at her small village school, Anya sat with her friends under the shade of a mango tree during break time. The air buzzed with the chatter of children discussing everything from their morning chores to their favorite stories. Anya couldn't keep her excitement to herself. She leaned toward her closest friend, Yemi, and whispered, "I have a secret to tell you." Yemi, an energetic girl with big curious eyes, leaned closer. "What is it?" "The talking drum," Anya began, lowering her voice. "It speaks to me. Not in beats or rhythms, but with a real human voice." Yemi blinked, her mouth falling open. "What?" "The drum talks to me," Anya repeated, her voice filled with conviction. "It tells me things, and it teaches me how to use its magic." Before Anya could stop her, Yemi jumped up and called to the other children. "Everyone. Anya says her drum talks to her like a person." In seconds, a group of curious children surrounded her. "Is it true?" one boy asked, his tone both amazed and doubtful. "Yes," Anya said confidently. "The drum has a voice only I can hear. It tells me how to help the village and play its magic songs." At first, the children listened with awe, but soon their amazement turned into doubt. "Are you sure, Anya?" a girl named Bola said with a smirk. "Maybe you just imagined it." "Yeah," added another boy. "Drums don't talk. Everyone knows that." The children began to giggle, their laughter growing louder. "Maybe the drum told her it was hungry," one boy teased. "Or that it wants to play hide and seek." Another chimed in, doubling over with laughter. Anya's cheeks burned with embarrassment. She stood there, clutching her books, as her friends laughed and pointed. Even Yemi, who had been her closest confidant, joined in. That evening, Anya sat by the talking drum, her heart heavy. "Drum," she said softly, "why can't anyone else hear you? They all think I'm making it up." The drum's voice spoke, gentle but firm. "Anya, not everyone is meant to hear my voice. Some are not ready to believe in things beyond what they see and hear. That does not make your gift any less real." "But they laughed at me," Anya said, tears filling her eyes. "Even my friends." "True strength is not letting others' doubt cloud your heart," the drum replied. "You know what is true. In time, they will see the magic in what you do." Anya wiped her tears and nodded. "I won't let them stop me. I'll keep listening to you and using your magic for good." The next day at school, Anya sat quietly, listening as her classmates continued to tease her. But she kept her head high, focusing on what the talking drum had told her. She knew within her that someday, everyone will know she wasn't lying about the drum speaking in a human voice. The following week, during a storytelling session under the baobab tree, a sudden gust of wind blew through the village. The sky darkened, and the children shrieked as a powerful storm began to form. The elders rushed to secure the village, shouting for everyone to find shelter. Anya, however, knew what she had to do. She ran home, grabbed the talking drum, and returned to the center of the village and started talking to the drum for directives. The drum also spoke back to her in human voice. Everyone heard but were terrified by the raging storm that had engulfed the village. As the wind howled and the storm grew fiercer, Anya played the drum, letting its voice guide her rhythm. The beats rose above the storm, steady and strong, like the heartbeat of the earth. Slowly, the wind calmed, and the dark clouds began to part. When the storm had completely disappeared, the villagers erupted in cheers, their gratitude filling the air. Anya's classmates, who had watched the entire scene, stood in stunned silence. Yemi approached her, her eyes wide with wonder. "Anya," she said softly, "you weren't lying. The drum really is magic." Anya smiled. "It always has been. You just couldn't hear it before." From that day forward, no one in the village doubted Anya or the talking drum. Her classmates no longer teased her, instead, they admired her bravery and the special bond she shared with the drum. As Anya walked home that evening, the drum spoke to her again. "You see, Anya," it said, "when you stay true to yourself, others will eventually see the truth. Belief is a powerful kind of magic, and you have used it well." Anya smiled, her heart light. "Thank you, drum. I'll always believe in you and in myself." And so, Anya continued to use the drum's magic to bring joy, harmony, and wonder to her village. proving that even the most extraordinary gifts can be real, as long as there was a courage to believe. In the same peaceful village where Anya brought harmony with her music, not everyone was happy with her gift. Among the villagers lived a man named Okoro. He was a tall, brooding figure with eyes that burned with envy. Once a respected farmer, Okoro had grown bitter over the years, believing he should have been the village king. When Anya's music began uniting the people and elevating her to a position of honor, Okoro's resentment deepened. He watched as villagers celebrated Anya, their cheers ringing louder than any he had ever received. He watched as other nearby villages reverenced the king of Anya's village. In his heart, envy brewed into something darker than hatred. "I should be the one revered by the people," Okoro muttered to himself one night as he paced under the moonlight. His plan began to take shape, and he thought to himself, if only he could gain control of the talking drum, he could use its magic to bend the village to his will. Okoro approached Anya one morning as she washed her dresses by the river bank. His demeanor was warm and friendly, a mask hiding his true intentions. "Anya, your gift with the drum is extraordinary," he said, smiling widely. "You've brought so much joy to the village. But have you ever wondered if you could do more?" Anya looked up at him, her eyes curious. "What do you mean?" "Imagine using the drum's magic to make the crops grow faster or protect the cattle from sickness," Okoro suggested. "The elders don't understand the drum's full power, but you could unlock its secrets with the right guidance," he said. Anya tilted her head, intrigued but cautious. "The drum has always taught me to play with kindness and wisdom. It hasn't spoken of such power before." Okoro's smile faltered for a moment before he quickly recovered. "That's because it takes someone truly wise to unlock such secrets. I could teach you, Anya. Together, we could bring prosperity to the village like never before." Over the next few days, Okoro continued to visit Anya, weaving tales of glory and power. Slowly, he gained her trust. Then, one evening, he invited her to his hut for a meal, claiming he wanted to share a new idea for a special song that could help the villagers. He approached Anya's parents as they were hurrying to go to the early morning market and took permission for Anya to dine with him at his house while he taught her few more secrets of the talking drum. Her parents carelessly agreed without actually uncovering Okoro's secrets. Unknown to Anya, Okoro had laced her drink with a sleeping potion. His plan was to make her unconscious, take the talking drum, and use it to curse the villagers' crops and cattle, causing them to depend on him for solutions. He would then demand the elders to make him king in exchange for saving the village. Anya arrived at Okoro's hut with the drum slung over her shoulder. The moment she stepped inside, her instincts told her something was wrong. The hut was dimly lit, and the air smelled strange, sharp and bitter. "Come, sit," Okoro said, his voice too smooth. He handed her a carved wooden cup filled with a dark liquid. "Drink this special brew. It will inspire your music." Anya took the cup but hesitated. She had always trusted her heart, and right now, her heart was warning her. She pretended to sip the drink, letting the liquid dribble onto the floor unnoticed. Moments later, Okoro's demeanor changed. He grew impatient, watching her closely. "Are you feeling sleepy, Anya?" he asked, his voice laced with anticipation. Anya placed the untouched cup down and stood, clutching the talking drum tightly. "No, I'm not," she said, her voice steady. "Okoro, why are you so interested in the drum's magic?" Okoro's smile twisted into a sneer. "You're just a child," he spat. "You don't understand the power you hold. That drum should belong to someone strong enough to use it and not a foolish little girl. With its magic, I will bring this village to its knees, and they will crown me king." Realizing the danger, Anya quickly struck the drum with her hands. The sound was sharp and urgent, echoing through the night like a call for help. The drum's voice whispered in her ear, "Trust me, Anya. Play to protect yourself." With her heart racing, Anya began to play. The rhythm she created was fierce and commanding, a melody that seemed to summon the wind. Okoro lunged for her, but a sudden gust of air knocked him back, scattering the items in his hut. As Okoro scrambled to his feet, Anya dashed out of the hut, the talking drum clutched tightly against her chest. The villagers, alerted by the urgent sound of the drum, gathered at the center of the village. When they saw Anya running toward them, her face pale and frightened, they knew something was wrong. "He tried to poison me and take the drum," Anya cried, pointing toward Okoro, who had emerged from the shadows, his face twisted in fury. The elders stepped forward, their voices firm. "Okoro, you have betrayed our trust and sought to harm the one who brings harmony to our village." Caught and exposed, Okoro tried to defend himself, but the villagers turned their backs on him. The elders banished him from the village, ensuring he could never harm anyone again. That night, as the village gathered to celebrate Anya's bravery, the talking drum spoke to her once more. "Anya," it said, "you have shown not only courage but also wisdom. Power can be tempting, but it is kindness and honesty that truly make a leader." Anya smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I will always honor the lessons you teach me," she said. From that day forward, Anya remained the keeper of the talking drum, her bond with it stronger than ever. She continued to use its magic to bring joy, solve challenges, and protect her people, never forgetting the importance of staying true to her heart. And one day, a dark cloud of trouble hovered over the village. Early one morning, the villagers woke to find their entire harvest of ripe fruits had vanished. The bananas, mangoes, and pawpaws, everything they had worked so hard to gather during the harvest season, were gone. The children cried in hunger, and the elders sat in despair. "The monkeys," a young boy shouted, pointing toward the edge of the forest. Sure enough, the mischievous troop of monkeys from the nearby forest had raided the village during the night and stolen all the fruits. "They've scattered them deep in the forest," one elder said, shaking his head. "Without the fruits, we cannot trade at the market. What will we do?" The villagers gathered around the talking drum, their faces full of worry. The village elder approached Anya. "Anya," he said, his voice heavy, "you have the gift of the drum. Can you help us?" Anya's heart raced. She had never faced a challenge like this before. The talking drum had always brought joy and celebration, never had it been used to solve a crisis. Taking a deep breath, she approached the drum and placed her hands on its surface. "What shall we do?" she whispered. "Play, Anya," the drum replied. "Play a tune that will bring the monkeys back, but let your heart guide the way." Anya began to play. Her rhythm was light and playful, echoing through the forest like laughter. The beats climbed the hills and danced through the treetops, catching the attention of the mischievous monkeys. At first, the monkeys peeked curiously from the branches. Then, unable to resist the enchanting music, they began to emerge one by one. The villagers watched in amazement as the monkeys, enchanted by the melody, danced toward the center of the village. Their little feet tapped and their hands clapped in delight. Slowly, they began to return the stolen fruits, piling them at the villagers' feet, all while swaying to Anya's tune. When every last fruit had been returned, Anya shifted the rhythm. This time, her tune was calm and soothing, like a lullaby. The monkeys stopped their mischief and settled peacefully under the trees, listening to the gentle music. The village erupted in cheers. The elder smiled and said, "Anya, you have saved us with your kindness and your gift." The children danced around her, and the villagers sang her praises. But Anya wasn't done. She approached the monkeys, kneeling before them with a soft smile. "Thank you for bringing back our fruits," she said. "We will share with you, but you must promise not to take from us without asking again." The monkeys nodded, as if understanding her words, and scampered back into the forest. From that day forward, Anya was no longer just a young girl in the village. She was the sole keeper of the talking drum, a symbol of harmony and hope. She continued to use her music to solve disputes, celebrate joys, and unite the hearts of her people. The talking drum, once a silent observer, now pulsed with life, knowing it was in the hands of someone who understood its true power. The trouble did not stop. One stormy night, when lightning split the skies and thunder roared like a lion, a frightened little boy ran to Anya's hut. "The river is rising," he cried. "It's going to flood the village." Anya rushed to the talking drum, rain drenching her as she ran through the storm. "Drum," she whispered, her hands trembling, "What can we do?" "Play a rhythm of strength and courage," the drum said. "Let the river hear you." With all her might, Anya played. Her beats were powerful, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The rhythm reached the river, calming its raging waters. The villagers, inspired by her courage, worked together to build barriers from the river and save their homes. Together, Anya and the drum reminded everyone of an important lesson: when we use our gifts to help others, we create magic that can change the world. And so, the little village by the forest flourished, its days filled with laughter, music, and love, all thanks to a brave girl and her talking drum.